to the INVICTUS stream. My name, as always, is Mr. Harlan Guthrie, and we are here with the lovely, the talented, the kind, and my love, Ms. Joe Fallak.
Hello.
We are joined once again by the hilarious Mr. Cuddly himself, James Schwartz.
Why, hello there.
And of course, we wouldn't be here without the golden-voiced god himself, Mr. Justin Thomas James.
Yeah.
And our game master. He's missing.
Where did he go?
Where did he go? He's gone to reset his internet, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Threshold Chapter 3. Chapter 2. The road. Let me just move my thing over. The road. I know it's the road something. The road.
The silver.
The road of trials.
Road of trials. Hey. Let's just remove him for a second. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. It is game night. We are so excited to be back here with another episode of Threshold. An absolutely mind-bending game that Chris is telling us. A mix of fantasy, a mix of heavy role-playing with some oddly specific decisions. I think we all know, if you were here last week, you know what I'm talking about. This sort of like, there's a mysticism to this game, you know?
There's something extra going on. There's a deeper level here.
There's a little bit of extra going on.
There's a little
Chris
secret.
always has been a little extra. No, and this has been very fably, yeah. A lot of fable.
Fabulous.
Fabulous. But we're so excited for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us. Of course, it is Wednesday night. We do this every Wednesday night. Next week, just FYI, we will not be doing another episode of Threshold.
We do this every Wednesday night. Except for
But not
next
next
week.
one.
No, next week we are going to be streaming, but we won't be streaming Threshold. Next week we'll be streaming a one-shot Call of Cthulhu original game that I have written many years ago, actually now. I ran it for a convention once called The Waking Children. It is a game that I've run, I think, for Carly and a few people in person, but never for the stream and never for this group. We'll be joined by James, Joe, myself, Gary Furlong, and a special guest star, Mr. Tim Woods.
Yeah.
And you might wonder who Tim Woods is. Well, Tim Woods is a little author, the guy who wrote the Green Knight RPG that we played.
Oh, no way.
Wow.
Wait,
awesome.
so Tim Woods will be joining us next week. He will be hanging out with us, playing through the spooks of Call of Cthulhu. It's going to be really exciting and really fun. He's a really chill guy. He loved our Green Knight game. Chris, by the way, I just mentioned. We're having Tim Woods, the guy who wrote the Green Knight game, on to next week's Call of Cthulhu game. He saw what we were doing. He loved it. He wanted to join.
Awesome.
He wanted to come be part of our
He
stream.
wanted to come be part. So, so that's really exciting for next week. But not as exciting as what tonight holds. Chris, your internet's looking much better. You're looking pretty.
He's sharp.
That's good news.
Look at him.
I don't think I got to introduce you properly. So, and my very good friend Chris. But yeah, Threshold Chapter 2. It's going to be a lot of fun tonight. If you're watching this, make sure you like the video and do all that kind of awesome stuff. As normal, we are chatting in Discord under Threshold Chapter 2. But there is many spaces through Twitch and YouTube and the other one, Facebook, that you can comment and we can highlight your comments like this. See? So if you want to be featured on the stream in some weird way. News. What do we got? Okay. Justin, what are you narrating now? Anything that's out now for you?
Well, I just finished Spear of Destiny, Arkham Online, Book 5.
Is that live though?
No, it's not live. So it's gonna be done. It's gonna be ready in about 60 days. So stay tuned.
Just mark that on your calendar, folks.
Well,
Really starting to get the hype train going for that one.
Yep.
Yes,
Chug,
early. We started early with
chug,
theater.
good. Chug.
well, no,
good.
you got your last parsec is out now, called
Yes,
A
actually,
Clear Understanding of Knowledge.
Clear Understanding of Honor is out, and then
Honor.
the one that just released last Thursday is Scrapped. Narrated.
Scrapped? Mine, which I
By the
mentioned.
one and
Yeah.
only you.
Fun fact. So Justin's story you can find it at soundbooththeater.com. A clear understanding of honor. Did I just get that right? We just said it.
Yep,
I think
you got
that's
it.
what was.
That's it.
Written by John Wick. I'm actually having John Wick on Sigil Spotlight next Friday. No, 2 Fridays. The 30th of July. So many Fridays from now. This coming Friday, actually, on Sigil Spotlight, Sigil's YouTube channel, I am having author Kevin Andrew Murphy on, who's writing a short story that I'm narrating for Sound Booth Theater as well, which is a lot of fun. New episode of Dice Shane comes out tomorrow. New episode of Severed Fate came out today.
Dimension Door today.
Dimension Door came out today. I had a 50-50 shot.
Hey,
sorry.
you know, both of them are ours, so it
You
works.
know why? Because I tweeted from Malevolent. I said something along the lines of, I tagged you in some thing, and I remember Elizabeth said maybe Severed Fate would have a better shot at doing this or something like that. And that's, for some reason, that's why my brain was like, oh no, it's not Dimension Door's Day, it's Severed Fate. But it was totally, I don't know why I'm explaining it to you, it doesn't really matter. Anyway, yeah, Dimension Door out today. What else?
The Invictus sleepover
Oh, the Invictus Sleepover
is happening this weekend, Saturday night.
Saturday night, blanket forts, makeovers, sing-along, recipes, lots of fun. We were very kindly asked to judge the blanket fort contest. Unfortunately, we will not be judging it, but Brianna is going to be finding a great secondary. I didn't want to play favoritism. I felt, you know what I mean? I figured anyone that I pick that's going to win is either going to feel...
I just wanted to show that really quickly.
Is he going to be adjudicating it?
He's going to be judging it.
I really like this picture.
But yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. We'll be stopping by. But yeah, you know, I always
If you
feel
guys are
all
part of the community, you want to have some fun, some sleepover fun, Saturday night, go check it out.
Yeah. Fuck internet, fuck Bell, as Chris says.
Correct.
Oh, he's
He's
drinking
frustrated.
very. It was
Yeah,
taking a
he's
very
just
long.
kind of
sip
holding
of
his mug
tea.
there for a minute. What other news? Anything else big coming up? I don't think so.
God, it's gonna be Chris's birthday soon.
Chris's birthday's coming up soon.
You got a month on it,
And
right?
the big 2-0, huh, Chris?
Big
That's right.
2-0.
2-0.
One more year and you can
33,
drink in the
aren't you?
States, Chris.
That's right. That'd be nice.
Yeah.
One more.
I'm 33.
Yeah, 33.
Harlan's?
Yeah, we're on the
33.
same. Yeah.
33.
It
You
goes
babies.
Joe, well, it goes your partner. I don't know if you want. I always.
Zara.
Okay, I don't know. I don't know. You're weird with that. Come on, Chris Viseau. So I don't know. I don't know what kind of names you want to use. But it goes. Well, no, it goes Joe, Zara, me, you in terms of everyone turning 33. Because I think Joe.
I'm already 33.
Yeah, you
Been
are.
33 all this
Zara's
whole time.
34.
Oh, that's
Zara's
right. No,
34.
it does go Zara first. That's right. Zara, Joe, me, and you. So big 3-3. Should we do another crawfish boil, boys?
Oh my god.
Ooh, that sounds
There's
good.
a
I'll
bear.
see-
There's a bear on our property that we keep seeing with her game
Aw.
cam. So crawfish boil seems dangerous. All that smells, all the crawfish. I'll just bring the bear
Oh my
away.
god.
Air boil.
Chris, you have to update the community. Last week you were talking, it was last week, right? You were talking about something coming to your
I
house
don't
to
even know
pick
what
up
day it is.
stuff at
Oh,
1:30 in the
yeah.
morning
They
or
did.
4:30
It
in the
worked.
morning or
Oh
something.
my gosh.
What did
But
you
it was-
do?
Did
Well, we
anybody
left it
die?
out there. No,
Did
no,
you
it
scare
was
them?
good.
3 weeks ago. This was Ghost of Salt.
But what did they
Was it?
leave?
Justin
They
doesn't
left
know.
something
I have no
unexpected.
idea what you're
I can't
talking
remember what it
about.
was.
They left something
amazing,
for
though.
you?
Yeah,
Okay,
there was
so-
a package.
100%
Chris
they're
has a
away.
farm stand, as you know,
Yeah.
and people book deliveries online for the farm stand. They book appointments to come and pick up their produce.
Yeah.
And someone booked an appointment to come and pick up farm fresh produce
Farm fresh
from
produce.
Chris's farm stand at like 4:30 in the morning.
So paint us a mental picture.
So 4:30 in the morning, we're supposed to leave certain vegetables out for someone to come to our derelict road. There's nothing around. There's our farm, and then there's like 3 other houses on this long road. And so, I guess at 4 in the morning, they walked over to there's no lights, completely dark. There's howling coyotes in the distance. There's probably a bear wandering around, and they take their vegetables. They leave money, but they also left something else. They left a package. And in said package was cat food, because they knew we have a bunch of cats.
Oh, that's
Which is
not
like
very
another-
exciting.
It's like, well, it depends how.
Is it magic cat food?
Yeah, we have less
Yeah, it
cats
depends
now,
what
so
happens
maybe
to the
I don't
cats.
know.
I don't think that was cat food then. Sounds like anti-cat food.
Sounds
Well, we
like
have a bear now.
cat
Maybe
food.
it's related. Maybe
Bear
somehow
food.
It's turning our cats into bears.
We've been
bear food.
we've been ordering these
cat.
packages of special treats from different countries just
Yeah.
to
Ooh, the
have
snack
fun
packs.
with our lives.
Well, when Henry heard his alarm and had a cast, I wanted something kind of nice. So I saw a Japanese box for like $30, and it just had a bunch of different Japanese candies in it. So I thought, okay, like a dessert, we can all pick one and see what's up.
But there was a Korean box recently that arrived, and the most delicious thing that we tried in it was it in the Korean box?
I don't
Was
actually.
this little packet of little chocolate biscuits that looked exactly like dog kibble.
Yeah,
and they were
did look
so
like that.
good.
They were very good. It's always nice, fun treats. Henry hurt his arm. Yeah, Chris, I didn't tell you.
Oh no!
How's he? How's
He had a
feeling?
cast.
It's been a while.
What
eh?
happened?
He had cast for 1 week.
Oh, yeah. Okay,
It's
so
the shortest
week.
week.
You know what? And actually, it's
They
good
didn't
that
know
we're
what it
talking
was
about this,
if it was broken.
because I can refer to people to this video because the amount of people that asked me what happened. Just watch this video, people.
11:40.
Joe and I, every
Timestamp it.
night, we do a routine. You know, he puts on his pajamas, we read him a book, we sing him a song, and we carry him to bed.
It's 2 songs.
And typically, there's 2 songs. Typically, we'll ask him, "Who do you want to carry you to bed?" And either he'll say Daddy, Joe, or he'll say both. And
It's
90%
always
of the time,
both.
it's both. He's like, both. Like he's playing a big prank on us, and we're like, oh. So we say who gets the hands and who gets the feet. Sometimes
Usually
he
Dad
goes,
gets the stinky feet.
I get the stinky feet. Sometimes get the stinky head.
90%
But
of
sometimes
the time.
he wants the silly way. The silly way is where I take 1 foot and 1 arm, and she takes 1 foot and 1 arm. We kind of carry him, to
like
bed
a sack of
that.
potatoes.
He's a 4-year-old kid. However, he is getting older and he's getting heavy, and you should always carry a child by their armpits or their torso. You shouldn't carry them by their hands. And I was dumb and tired, and I was carrying him by his hand and his foot. And as we were just carrying him to bed, just turned the corner, nothing happened. I just felt the tiniest little pop in his arm. And so we put him to
And
bed.
he's actually had like a shoulder injury before.
He's had that
right?
before.
So
He's
like
got-
gets
He's got a
easier to
quick elbow,
dislocate.
this kid.
It
Yeah.
does. So he's had a dislocated elbow twice before. Again, for equally innocuous times where I'm just like walking, I'm like, okay, and just pops. So anyway, so we asked him and he couldn't really say, so it was his wrist. Anyway, I ended up taking him to the hospital the next day just because he said it still hurt in the morning, but we iced it that night. That was a burp, not sadness.
He's getting all choked up.
I'm just getting choked up, guys. No, we waited around for like 4 fucking hours, and they couldn't find anything through x-rays, but he was clearly in pain, so they wrapped it just in case. And then a few days later, they took him to the fracture clinic. They still couldn't find anything, but he was still in pain, so they wrapped it in case with a full arm thing. And then 10 days later, they brought him back, and basically they said that they don't think it was a fracture. They think it was just a dislocated elbow, but it's popped itself back in place. So all for nothing, but that ends up being the thing. Don't carry your children to bed the silly way. And if you do, use the armpits.
Yep.
And we already have carried him to bed the silly way 3 times, but not by the arms. So
Armpits is
End
not
of
the
story.
silly way, though.
I know.
It is if you're
So sad.
Unless you
tickling
do this as
while
you carry.
you-
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would do it.
But Henry, are you feeling okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, give us a yippee, bud.
Yippee!
Good. Oh, would you roll over there?
Natural 20.
Okay, but roll again.
Natural 1.
Oh.
Oh, man.
Anyway, so he's doing fine.
Is
Long
that the
story
first time
short.
you've done that routine?
Yes.
I would
so
have
far.
messed that up so bad. I'd be like,
yeah.
"How you doing over there?" Natural 20.
How you doing over there, Henry?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Oh, you're playing piano. Great,
Traveling
great, great.
away.
Looking great though. Oh, Henry, don't play with your toys. Oh
Oh yeah, I should say, Michael and Brianna, that all of the visits to the fracture clinic, and there were 3 of them, didn't cost us a fucking dime.
no. I paid $0 for all of this, and actually, he got a toy.
Parking.
When
Oh,
parking
yeah.
was up. It was really
Happy
sweet.
Meal?
This nurse came by after like hour 3, and she was just like, "Are you the little man who's been like so quiet and stuff like that?" I said, "Don't gender my kid." No, I said. So I said yes, and she gave him this little wrapped in plastic, obviously, and this little stuffed animal from like one of the Pixar movies or whatever.
A gift shop animal.
Yeah, he was really, really happy about that. So that was really sweet. So
Very
not
sweet.
only does Canadian not put you in debt, they give you gifts sometimes. So there you go.
That's just a Henry specific perk.
Yeah, he's definitely sweet. But yeah. Anyway.
Anyway, that's not anything to do with
No,
RPGs.
but Chris is our friend, and
Or
honestly,
is it?
Wednesday streams are half
Oh.
as much just about getting together and
Yeah.
talking. Being like,
Yeah.
"Hey guys, how's it going?" This
About
is-
our
Big
friend.
mean hornet here.
Get it, Chris. Wait,
Do it.
I'm
wait.
afraid
Turn the
to.
camera so we can watch you get it.
Let's watch it.
Hey,
Okay, here we go.
I want to see it.
Is it? Where is it? Where is it? The light came on. That's not good. That means their electrical's not good. Oh, he's still alive.
Get him,
Sorry,
Chris.
guys.
Oh,
He's still alive.
He's moving.
Oh shit.
Natural 20. No, that would have been
Yeah.
never.
Natural 20.
That's the worst when you're trying to teach. Like I teach it here, right? So like sometimes there's like wasps. I'm like,
Sometimes you're just like, hold on, kids.
and then a
just
Vandertramp
hold
verb, and they're like, what's the matter with you? Yeah.
on. Great job. All right, enough out of all. Unless anyone has anything big to talk about, James, you got anything going on, buddy?
Not really. Been busy doing stuff. I don't know. Life's
You looking good?
Yeah, thank you. It rained yesterday. Which was, oh! I have something. I have something for all of you out there who may be doubting climate change. Last week here in Phoenix, we had both hail and 106-degree heat all at the same time.
That's real special.
It's so fucking gross.
Yeah, that sucks. I feel for you.
Wonderful. It's humid
Setting
and hot
records.
now.
Yay.
You looking good though. You looking good though.
Your skin looks very luminous.
Thank you.
You look like you lost some weight. Have you been losing weight?
You look great.
No, I haven't. Here, let
good.
me just really.
Oh,
there
that's
we go.
interesting, the lighting too.
Oh, there we go.
Perfect.
Your beard goes
Now
so
that's
red.
normal.
I know, doesn't it? Like once the light
Yeah.
hits it, like you can really tell.
The youth filter.
That's great.
All right. Shall we do this?
Let's
do it.
fucking go.
Let's
All right,
go.
ladies and
play.
gentlemen, without further ado, chapter 2. Sorry, chapter 2. Through 2.
The experience of going through the portal is like that of thinking there would be another step at the bottom of the stairs, and your foot finding none. This feeling continues. For what seems like an eternity, combined with the lurching of your stomach, is a dull tingling that travels all over your body, turning into agonizing needle-like pinches. It's hard to make out what you see as visions or debris in the whirling tempest cast by Rosalinda. They push past your gaze, one after the other. Things that cannot be. What do you see? Harlan, what does you see?
I think he sees his past, in a manner of speaking. These abstract visions of the books and the knowledge that he's spent his entire life seeking out. This theoretical knowledge that he has developed over time, compounded. All of the weight of what he knows seemingly surrounds him on all sides. Dark bookshelves looming over him. The idea of the unconquerable amount of knowledge that he has consumed, weighing him down for all of this, though it has projected him forward onto this adventure, he has no actual experience. And now that he is thrust out into the world, these fears of not knowing enough come back to him, sweat dripping down his brow.
Jericho, what is it that you see That could only have been a memory. It can't possibly be there.
Jericho sees a small crimson cloud roiling like a mist. But it's only small at first. It grows gradually until it begins to swirl around him and consume him. A mist that causes him to sweat and look around frantically. And as the mist pulls forward and around, it circles in front of him, and it creates a face. The face of a woman. A woman he has not seen in many years. And just as he's about to reach out, the mist disappears, and she's no longer in sight.
What is it that you saw that made me question your eyes, Wharton?
Wharton is back home in his parents' tavern, and him and all of his siblings are still very young, and his oldest sibling has just turned 18, and their parents are so proud of them. They have them loaded up with bags and goods, and they even got her a horse and a brand new weapon, and she's getting sent out on her first journey to go and be an adventurer, and all the other kids are just surrounding her, and they're so excited for her, and Wharton is the last one to give her a big hug before she opens the tavern door and leaves for the first time.
What you saw, Theodora, was certainly real. A fragment of a half-charred sign that hung over the doors of your inn passes by your eyes in a fleeting moment before whipping out of the cyclonic winds. What is it that is depicted in the sign? How does the sign look?
The sign is reminiscent of the artifact that she dragged from the burning inn just moments ago. A pair of swords crossed at the hilt, and underneath, in curling script, on a piece of what is painted to look like parchment, says Millie's Swords Inn.
Where the swords join, it appears to be a blue stone that your father had found a long time ago that he actually inlaid into the sign. It's a beautiful piece, and it glints, it shines in the sun as you walk by. You guys lose consciousness in this whirling wind. I'd like now to go back and look at what happened last game and assign experience points. But before we do that, everyone should add 1 experience point for playing last game, and 1 also for the description you just gave.
I will. Thank
We're
you.
winning. RPGs are about winning.
Where do I
That was an
assign
energy
it?
shift.
Beside your willpower points, actually, let's do it this way. Let's just give you 1 willpower point and 1 experience point, because I think that would be more useful possibly in the game as we go through
Coolio.
it.
Sweet.
Now,
Done
if
and done.
Where? Oh, I see. Willpower point.
we're going to start with the questions that they have in the book, in the Forbidden Lands, but I think we're going to add to those as we go a little bit. First of all, you get experience points for playing the last game. Did you travel through, in this game, it says at least 1 hex on the game map that you have not visited before? We're going to say yes. So you visited a new place. You've traveled from one area to the next, and we're going to say yes, you have done that. So you've progressed the story in that way. So everyone can assign 1 more point there.
I am straight.
Sick.
Here's an interesting thought. Did
Yay.
you defeat 1 or more monsters? Now, I'm going to say there's an enemy here. You did face 3 dwarves who were looking to capture slaves. How do you feel
I
that
was the only
encounter
one that
went?
stabbed them in the neck.
You did, and I guess in doing so, they stopped pursuing you, did they not?
Yeah. More or less.
You also
you
did
think-
the whole thing with their book, right? You
Yeah,
definitely
I-
messed with them the most.
I would
yeah.
count that as like overcoming an adversary.
I
We
would
definitely
too.
took our names out of the book.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let Finn decide though. Finn, do you feel like it was
I think by stepping up and trying to, not just for myself, but scratching out everybody's name in the book, I do think I overcame them at least trying to find us in the context of that. So yeah, I would say I did.
Yeah, and if not for this, later on it says, did you risk your life for another PC? And I'd say either one of those would qualify for that one. So let's give you the XP for that.
Cool.
Did anyone else activate their pride during last session?
I did too.
No.
Look at you winning the game.
I definitely activated my pride.
Anybody else?
I'll take XP.
Simba.
What does it mean when you activate your pride? You get to roll
You
again.
use
Oh yeah, you use your
pride,
D.
which was you can make anyone trust you for me.
12.
Admittedly, mine was fairly
Yeah,
straightforward.
you get to add a D12 to your dice
That's
pool.
right.
And that has a more likelihood of success because it's 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 that succeeds or something like that.
Cool.
6 to 12 possibly. Did you perform... Here's a good one. Did you risk your life for another PC? And I think to Wharton on this one.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
definitely Wharton.
Definitely.
Now, did you find treasure? Theodora, would you consider your family heirlooms treasure?
Oh,
Maybe you didn't find
certainly.
it, but then I would suggest that.
Great.
Did you perform any extraordinary action of some kind? Does anybody have anything they think they should be rewarded for experience point?
Extraordinary
I think
action.
that smashing the wall. In the
Yeah,
end,
I
again,
would. I would
mean,
say smashing the wall.
that was
and
pretty extraordinary.
Protecting Theodora was pretty exceptional, but I also think that falls under risking my life for them.
No, I think risking your life was coming in, offering your help to begin with.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Justin, I think I'm going to award one to you as well, because I think when you were offering up the dog tags, that probably evokes, did you suffer from your dark secret? Maybe not suffer, but you exposed part of your dark secret, I think, in that action. So I think you should get a point for that.
Cool.
Does everybody feel good about that?
I mean,
Yeah.
I was really aiming to make a character that wouldn't combat, and my character did end up stabbing someone last week because he felt pressured. I don't know if that's an extraordinary action. If anything, that might be like a embarrassing action on his part. It kind of gets covered by a few other questions, so that would be the only thing I think for my character.
I think we're going to leave it for there. But just keep those in mind moving through this session, so that way you kind of know how you're going to develop your character through XP. Not the only way, because, for example, your dark secrets, if they come up, those can change, as well as your pride can change if it doesn't succeed in the way you wanted to during the session. So those things can change as well, but experience points, definitely a way to go.
Cool.
I open it up, obviously, to the Discord and anybody else who's participating through the Invictus stream. If you guys come up with good ways that you think people should be rewarded for XP, or if you see something during this game, put it in the chat,
Don't say.
and we'll make sure that we write it down.
Oh, that too. Yeah.
You guys lose consciousness as you're being whipped around in this torrent, this tempest cast by Rosalina. You open your eyes and push yourself to your feet. Yellow dust clings to the side of your face as you wake. There are other people all around. Many are dazed, some are injured, mostly minor. Armed dwarves pull people to their feet. Not, you need to move. Give me your weapon, Not. A kind, pity-filled face asks you as you fall with the rest. Give me your weapon. The guard tries to take your weapon from you. How do you react? And this goes to all of you. She's kind of gesturing to all of you. Give me your weapon.
I think I would give her mine. Mine still wet with the blood of the dwarf. You know, Finn almost recoils from it and hands it to her. Yes, please take it.
She takes your knife.
Where the hell are we? And
Are-
that question fades to the background.
Yeah, are our eyes still like blurry? We're
You're-
still kind of gathering our
You know, when you're,
senses?
it's like the opposite of when you like pass out and you're like, you know, your vision's coming back and stuff. It's going spotty, but you're starting to see everything around you, and you realize the terrain is completely different. Stones are everywhere. The dust again is bellowing a little bit. It's moving around with all the people walking around you. It's chaotic. All these people are kind of like dazed, and there's guards, significant amount of guards, all well armed, watching these people who are kind of Some of them are just completely complacent. Others are kind of whimpering, a little bit tough, trying to withhold their weapons. But you see, anyone withholding their weapons are being overpowered by several guards coming, well armored, and taking the weapons from them. You see that there are some doors that clearly are not guards watching you guys from a distance, from what looks to be an opening to like this stone structure. The guards are going from one person to the next, all of which seem to be in the same circumstances as you and asking for their weapons. Do you give your weapons over to this kind-eyed dwarf? Not. And he gestures to you, Jericho. Not. Please give me your weapons.
And Jericho turns to Theodora and says, doesn't look like they're going to give us any option.
What else can we do?
I just need your weapons. We cannot have them in the camp. It is in your best interest, she says with pity in her voice.
And Jericho is kind of looking around frantically, and he sees that Finnegan has passed up the dagger. And he takes a calming breath, and hilt first hands the axe over to this dwarf.
She takes the axe and the knife and she places it in a cart that's just off to the side of the road. Other weapons are being stored there. You, not. Please give me your weapons. She goes to Wharton. As you notice that the other companions that you have gone through the portal with are all around you, feeling the same treatment. Not. And she calls you this again, as she has to the others. Not. And you hear it going through the crowd as people are calling these captives the same thing. Not. Not. N-E-A-U-G-H-T. Give me your weapon, not.
I don't... Why would I... I'm sorry, this is... I can't just give you my namesake.
We will not destroy it, I assure you.
Yeah, and I think Finn sees this and turns to Wharton and just says, Wharton, look, I get it, but I think this one can be trusted. Can I roll like an insight or something to see if this person does seem...
Yeah, absolutely.
Would insight be the best?
I think that makes the most sense.
Okay, so insight is 2 plus my wits is 4, so I'm going to be rolling 4 dice.
It's weird that it would be insight, because you think with something like this, like, it's basically empathy, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
But if you look at the subclasses, subsections of this, let's do manipulation.
I could do animal handling.
Well, like, it's weird, right? Like, it's almost like you're trying to read someone. So let's do...
Sure.
No, you're right. It's insight because when it's an empathy check against someone, like a manipulation, it goes against someone's insight. So yes.
Okay. That is a 6 and a 1.
Hey.
So it's a
So
6. Success.
Yep.
There's sadness and pity in her eyes. She doesn't want to do this, but she's not trying to harm you.
Yeah, and I sort of relay that to Wharton. I say, this woman's not trying to harm us. Just trust. And if you don't trust her, and I lock eyes with Wharton, I say, trust me, friend.
All right, I can do that.
And
Morton
Jericho
will-
leans in as well, just to kind of get a bit of
And
a
then
trio
Theodora
here.
leans in. Come on, everyone.
Yeah.
Let's get on.
We could also take them out with our fists. You've got some beefy biceps there.
Yes, I suppose that is true. Yes, here you go. Very well. Take good care of it. I'll be needing it back in the future.
This is a fine weapon. I understand your reluctance. And she grabs it and she puts it on the cart. And you, young lady, I need the weapons.
Why are they not? And I'm a young lady.
You are not, but I pity you, for this is a hard place to live.
What is not?
You will find out, but you are not now. That is your name. You will know further, but we need your weapons before we can go any further with this. And I need your armor too, I'm afraid. And she gestures to all of you to kind of take off your armor. You know, this is not a place that we can have a revolt. We are not here. We don't want violence.
I will remove my weapons, but not my name.
In time you will, she says. They all do.
It's all right, Theodora. As long as we have each other, we will not forget each other's names.
No, we will
That's
not.
right.
With an O.
I hand over my weapons.
I'm not wearing any armor, just FYI, Finnegan says.
Ditto.
She ties her belt in a knot with a K and an N.
No! What kind of knot? A K? Oh, with a K.
I'm not wearing armor. This is studded leather pajamas.
Do you want to
Do-
try to perform that one?
No.
You
Do all
can
of
try
the-
to conceal something. If you want to conceal something, you can go about it. But basically, they're taking your items. So anything that would be a gear item for combat, they're taking.
Well, dang, yo.
It's all good.
Jericho will start to take his armor off.
Yeah,
Just-
Wharton will do the same.
In the kerfuffle of everything that's going on, and you said there are other dwarven guards who are going about and doing the same thing with other prisoners. Do all of these guards seem to have the same kind of reserved, depressed empathy, or do we have just kind of a nice
We lucked
slaver?
out. We lucked out
Yeah,
on the
you
slaver.
see most of them seem to be doing this out of duty. It seems like they're begrudgingly doing these actions. Not a lot of them seem to be cruel, but occasionally there's someone who's choosing not to comply, and some of them seem to be taking joy in the actions they're taking as retribution, beating down some dwarves who are choosing not to be forthcoming with their weapons. You do notice that it's not all dwarves. All the guards are dwarves. Most captives, most people in your circumstance are dwarves, but there are the occasional human and other kin amongst you. Once all the weapons and armor has been removed, she comes closer to you. Thank you. Remember, curfew is sundown? She says, kind of whispering to you. You notice that nobody else is kind of getting this treatment. The dwarf points to the highest point in the quarry, which is this stone structure that's just off the path where you guys are all standing. And she kind of points to the high point. And you see that there are 4 people dancing in a circle, 5 people dancing in a circle at the top of the rocks. Dancing and dancing, circle, circle, circle. Each one in perfect unison, perfect motions, repeating. And she kind of like raises her eyebrows at you. Curfew, sundown. Make sure you're quiet and settled by sundown knots. She glances sideways to a statue over what looks to be an enormous wooden door entering the side of a rocky mountain. Sundown? And she gestures for you to join the rest of the crew, the rest of the captives. The 4 of you and a crowd of other captured are ushered to a large stone quarry. Many, mostly dwarves, are moving in and out of the stones, looking at the new arrivals, but going about what seems to be pedestrian behavior in a village-like camp. The rocky quarry holds makeshift dwellings, some built into the stone. Most are on the ground level, simple tents or tarpaulins. But a few more well-constructed shelters are higher on stony outcroppings. You are left here. The guards kind of usher you in. Once you're past the gate of this open space, amongst the rest of these mostly dwarves, they kind of just go about their business and you are left there. You notice that everyone's kind of looking around, trying to understand their new surroundings, similarly to how you're probably feeling. You notice a young dwarf be approached by someone who had been here beforehand from the camp. Nice boots, not? A sallow-faced dwarf with vascular arms calls to a meek and plump-looking young man, well-dressed, with a bloody nose, perhaps from his encounter, perhaps from being taken and brought to this place. Nice boots. I want them. My name is not. It is Farrelin. These boots were my father's. Darrelin. These boots are my own. Your name is not now, and those boots are mine. Another thin but intimidating dwarf walks up behind the youth, clearly trying to block any way of escape.
Can we interact? Or
You
are
can. No.
Yeah, I sort of walk up and misreading the situation. I think Finn, well, not misreading, but I think Finn doesn't understand the severity of certain situations and how dangerous this might be. And he walks up, he's just kind of like, what's so particularly fascinating about those boots, friend? And he sort of gestures to the man's boots on the floor. Is it just that you need boots, or do you fancy the ones worn by him?
He looks at his own boots. And he looks up at you. What do you think, not? And you can see his feet are tattered, and some like toes are sticking out. He continues on and he says, I need boots, but more importantly, he's a knot. I'm 45. Those boots belong to me. Give them up, not. They are mine now. And you see the young dwarf start feeling very uncomfortable as he realizes there's that other dwarf now behind him, and he is clearly is bending down.
Yeah, before he does, I want to spend a willpower point because I have one now.
To use one of your talents?
Yes, I'd like to use one of my talents. I'd like to say, well, actually, hold on. I have a pair of boots on me, and I'm going to reach into my pack of many things. And when I spend a point, I can find almost any item. It cannot be a heavy object, and I'm going to pull out a pair of boots, which are uncommon. They're in the path of many things, and I'm just going to pull them out and say, if you don't mind, I have a new pair right here that I'm not using.
And while Finnegan is going through the pack, Theodora goes over and she's like, and let me see those feet. Here. And she's going to see if she can tend to, like, the wounds. You said that they're all kind of like, his feet are messed up.
Yeah.
So she's gonna see if she can't, like, rebandage, like, his toes or wash his feet or something. This won't do, of course. Let me help you here.
Let's start with Finn's action.
Mm-hmm.
Finn, there's a skeptical character that's on now on this dwarf's face. You're gonna give me these boots.
Well, I am a knot as well, and you are a 45.
Yes. That's right, he says loudly, kind of looking around.
And I say, if boots is all you need, sir, then please take them from me.
Harlan, how many times can you do that, by the way?
Well, it's per willpower point, so I had one and I spent it. That's it. So that was the last time. Until I get more, which I don't know how to get more. But
he looks at the bag that you reached into, pulling it out. The bag appears to be empty, I guess, at this point, right?
Yeah, it's just it's like my knapsack. I don't know. I'm not sure how magical we want to flavor this, but
no. I like the fact that it kind of fills as you reach, kind of like Mary Poppins bag or something.
Yeah.
This is a knot who gets it. And he looks at Farrellin. I might need those soon. Yeah, please. Not if you would be so kind, fix my feet. And he looks down at you kind of with disdain. I guess looks up at you with disdain, like kind of feeling bolstered in his attitude now with Finn's gesture.
And she does. She says, it must be hard work being here, that your feet are worn so raw. Tell me, what is it like for a newcomer?
Knots. Greenhorns. I'd be surprised if you knew anything but being a newcomer. Not many of you guys survive. I'm not a newcomer. I've been here for a long time.
Was that how you became a 45? What does that mean?
You'll figure it out. He's clearly not forthcoming with information. He's not a kind soul, as you can clearly see. You can work to get some from him, but his ignorance and his anger in his voice leads you to believe that the longer you spend with this character, the less favorable the outcome will be.
Cool. Well, I say, well, there. You should be all fixed up. Now, with these shoes and your feet all bandaged, You should have a more pleasant evening.
Yeah, I think I will. And he clicks his kind of lip and like he gestures to his I don't know, minion, his little crony, and he says, "Let's go." Yeah, boss, let's go. And they go like and you see them like kind of walk off to the side, but they're clearly eyeing all the other new people, all the other knots as they're being called. And he's kind of eyeing the things that they have as other people are either like jostling past these new arrivals with disdain. Some of them are curious, some of them are, you know, kind of sizing people up, but mostly people are going about their business. Some people are carrying things or prepping their beds and things like that, as you can see.
How close is it to sundown?
We have a few hours yet, it seems. It seems like you have enough time that if you you could do some exploring, that type of thing. We're probably talking about 4 hours before sundown. But you know, if you would be, you're cautioned, I think, to find a place to be quiet by sundown, but in 4 hours you could easily do that, if nothing else than just to sleep on the bare earth.
Sure.
And Jericho walks up to Finnegan and says, "That was awfully kind of you, giving your boots to a stranger. I bet this little one's appreciative." And he turns towards the other dwarf.
Farrellan looks up at you. "Thank you." And he does a weird bow, really out of place. Clearly he's not lived a hard life. "You are very kind strangers, and I assure you, when I am returned to my kingdom, you will be well rewarded." And he,
I
and
give
he
us your
kinda,
boots. I just lost
Pardon
my
me?
boots. I'm just kidding.
Your kingdom.
I'm a knot.
Where do you come from?
I come from the Isles of the East. You may have heard of it before. Darylin, my father, as I said, he is the king. And I am the next in line. I probably won't be here for very long. No offense, but I probably don't need to know your names too much. But I do appreciate...
no, you're a jerk too.
Oh, you can see he's bolstering, but there's also a nervous scaredness in his eyes, right? He's very uncomfortable. He's talking the way he knows to, but he's out of his element completely.
I've been muted this whole time. Oops.
Oh no.
I think as I see Farrellan start to like try and bolster himself, Wharton's just been kind of like standing off to the side while this happens because he's kind of fucked up still from everything that happened inside of the house. Like he had a beam hit him.
Still like coughing from the smoke
he's
inhalation.
Wharton is not doing great. But I think like especially after removing the armor and stuff, like there's a big gash like across one of his shoulder blades, and he's like his legs are like kind of burnt up a little bit. And Wharton just like straightens up a little bit and then walks forward and stands behind the rest of the group and just kind of like looks down on Farrellan.
And he looks up at you. Hello? I hope you don't want my boots too. Seeing the size of you're enormous, right? I mean, both you and Jericho are intimidating people, but Jericho seems to be amongst the others and not hostile, but you just walked up. Perhaps I should find a place to sleep. Good day, he says to you, clearly trying to get away. Again, though, he seems to be a fish out of water. He seems to be in the same circumstances that you find yourself, but worse off because he has lived a soft hand life. He has no calluses on his hands. He is very not used to roughing it. And he's looking around nervously as if like, where am I going to stay? What is going to happen here?
You know,
and he walks. He tries to walk away.
Before you go around and do something else, are you okay? You seem a bit out of scruff, so to say. Is everything fine here? I saw you puffing up. I thought we might be in for a bit of a row, but I think that has gone past.
Farrellan hesitates for a moment. wondering if he should drop his persona, his
Bravado.
barrier that he's now put up, his bravado. Thank you. And he goes, "I'm not sure what to do. Frankly, I don't do a lot for myself, as it were. Do you know how one sleeps outside?"
Well, mostly you just lay down and close your eyes and hope that no bugs get on you.
Farrellyn begins to kind of go to lie down on the ground, like right in the middle of like the opening of like where everybody's still like gathering around, like walking about their businesses.
Well, it's not nighttime yet, Prince. You're going to need a little bit of assistance, as I can see.
Perhaps I can stay with you for a bit.
I think that would be a very wise idea, considering there may be some time yet between now and your rescue.
Yes, I would appreciate that, kind strangers. My name is Farrellyn, as you know. To whom am I speaking?
I'm Theodora, and these are my companions, Finnegan, Wharton, and Jericho.
For now, you are known as Wharton, Finnegan, Jericho, and Theodora, but I assure you, on my return to my kingdom, I will make sure that you will be honored, rightly so. And he kind of gets scared and kind of stands behind Wharton and Jericho, kind of like nestled in, like, I found my people. So.
Now, we should probably get our bearings before it gets dark.
Yes.
You look around
actually,
and... Go ahead.
So go ahead. I was just going to say, let me see if I can't do it for us. I feel like Finn wants to see himself as like a scout or a, he wants to be the brains of the operation, try to look around and try to see what he can see through the ruins and try to find exactly what's around them.
Let's go to Tailspire a little bit here.
Do.
And basically, you guys have now gone from across where the carriage is there. That's where they kind of put all your gear. And you can see there's some rocks and things stacked in the carriages as well. Mm-hmm. And as you walk into this, we'll say it's a quarry-looking space, you can see that there's people that, tents and different encampments. You also see people selling wares, it seems like. In particular, you see people trying to hawk things to the newcomers, right? Offering simple items, things like, you see people whose boots have been taken, and then other people trying to sell boots. And then you see other people like saying, I have bedrolls here. If you need to sleep tonight, I suggest you get a bedroll, they say out loud to the newcomers, the knots. Other goods are being sold and given around, walking around. And there's people throughout. Most of them are paying little attention to the knots. It seems to be opportunists around this area. But there's other people doing just general work and things to obviously make their lives as comfortable as possible in this very rough conditions. And I encourage you can walk around and talk to people as you wish within that space.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I think Finn sort of sees this person standing in the center of this crier.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe he'll just walk up to them and sort of say, "Excuse me, where exactly are we? And, what the hell's going on?"
This is a particularly swarthy dwarf. Clearly his beard has not been managed at all in these circumstances. There's yellow dust covers pretty much everything. He's got scarring on his arms, and you notice that the scarring is in the shape of a runic symbol.
And suddenly Finn gets really excited. This, and he looks down at his arm and like runs his fingers over the rune. Says, "Where did you get this?"
You mean these? And he noticed that he's actually rolling up his sleeves, and he's got runes on like all over the place. The same rune.
Yes. This is brilliant. I've been searching for something like this. And he turns to the others for a second and says, "We didn't really have time to dissect, but my whole job here is, well, I come from the university far away, but I really need to find as many of these as I can. Suffice it to say that.
Can you do a roll for me? I want to see.
Sure.
I'm going to do it for you. I guess you're going to do a lore check.
Okay. Lore? Sure.
Yeah.
So it'll be 5 dice. Nope. 2 ones.
Oh boy.
You recognize it, absolutely. It's a little different from what you've seen before, but you've seen these runes, you know, in your explorations. They do come current, you know, it appears to
books.
be in your books. Yeah, you're right. Sorry. In your books you've studied, and it must have something to do with the gods that you're familiar with.
Crazy. Yeah, and
The gods
and
must
again,
be crazy.
Finnegan just elaborates for his friends because again, we've been so on the road. You're not really aware of why he's even here. We've been pushed out, and he just sort of takes a second and says, "I believe," and he says almost in a hushed voice that through my studies, and believe me, I'm well read. There's been a lot of nights at the library. I have a number of PhDs and a number of different. It doesn't matter. I believe that there are a certain set of runes that hold the building blocks to all of this, to life itself. And for one thing or another, I couldn't really convince the rest of my department to take it very seriously. So I decided to take it upon myself to seek them out, in a matter of speaking. And then he turns back to the men again, just sort of give context to his friends. But this is brilliant. This has something to do with the gods, does it not?
Just to be clear, all these people that seem to be already encamped here, 98% of them are dwarves.
Yeah.
And the dwarf, the man, he looks at you and says, iron, he says. We are to be tempered, just like iron. And let me tell you, I have some great iron here. And he holds up a pickaxe. You might need this tomorrow. Maybe it's in your best interest to maybe trade for it.
Sure, but the rune, did you get it from somewhere? It's a god, is it not?
Yeah, like I said, the god Rust he's everywhere. He's everything you have. He's everything that we will be, and he is testing us. He is trying to temper us, and he's trying to break down our weaknesses. The same way a hammer can forge steel into a tool, you too can be forged into something better. Would you like to swear an oath to Rust as I have? And he pulls out what looks to be like a shiv, like a rock that's been scraped really sharp.
Yeah.
You know, what's it, napped?
And Finn's like,
I would be happy to integrate you.
No. I'm pretty okay, thank you though. How much was that pickaxe you said?
Keen eye. I knew he had a keen eye. You can have this pickaxe. It doesn't cost you a dime, but what I will ask is that you write your symbol on a stone. I know you are a knot, and perhaps tomorrow you will be given your number and your rating. For now, just write your symbol. And he pulls out a blank, very smooth rock, you know, the size of maybe an inch and a half, and he says, just write your symbol on here. And he hands you a rock, and he says, just write your symbol, and this tool will be yours. And this symbol, this rock is nothing really, a token that says you will give me 1 kilogram when you have it and when I need it of the ore we're going to be mining. I might have a bad day, you might have a good day, and I might need some ore. Do this, and the pickaxe is yours.
And I look towards the others.
What do you mean by you might need some ore?
Well, why do you think we're here? We're here to work.
Slaves.
Slaves work, and we're here to work. We are here to mine. And you will be tested, and it's going to be tough. And some days are better than others. Some days the Rust God will challenge me. But I know if we make this trade now, I will be able to weather that storm.
Is he trying to manipulate me?
Roll a dice. Roll to insight to find out.
Well, so I have a skill. If he
Okay.
is trying, that's why. So it says So I took the skill incorruptible. So when others try to affect you, you are immovable as the mighty oak. My insight roll is modified when someone tries to manipulate me. So I get a +1 to. I get another die to roll. So
right.
if he's
So
trying,
when you roll your insight, you get to add an extra d6 to that roll.
when I'm being manipulated. That's why I was asking. So if he is trying to manipulate me, I'll roll additional. If he's not, then
Yeah, do it.
okay. So I'll roll with the additional. So insight is wits. That's 2.
And you'll find out, I guess, if you're
4.
successful, how he's trying to manipulate you.
Yeah.
what his
So
game
that's
is.
7 die. This guy ain't gonna
You know what?
do it.
I guess because I'm doing a manipulation, it's an opposed roll here.
Yeah. Okay.
So
I like what Zia said in the Discord. The pickaxe will be free when they give you one because slavery.
Yeah. For real. How many did you get?
2 6s.
3 6s.
Ooh.
Hey.
He is asking for you to pay a currency that's not ridiculous. It seems he's not trying, but you look at the pickaxes and you recognize them to be very faulty and shitty.
Yeah.
Like the wood looks like the way it's hung is gonna fall apart.
Yeah. And Finn sort of has this look over and just says, "Well, thank you, but I think we'll take our chances." And he sort of departs.
Hey, you're lost, but if you need a tool, you know where to go.
I am definitely. I mean, I was thinking the same thing as Zia. If we are meant to be mining, they have to give us tools. And if they're like, "Well, you go do it," I'll be like, "Okay, but how?"
Yeah, you could be right. Like, absolutely. Like, you might get in there and have this is like their rejects that he's trying to sell you.
Yeah. So
Right.
It definitely seems like a hustle of some sorts.
Right?
No, but we learned from this guy, right?
Yeah.
Well, we learned. I mean, I learned Rust, the god of Rust. However, so as we walk away,
Jericho,
Finnegan
I'm gonna say Finn points out that it's the symbol for rust, and Jericho, I feel like maybe your ears perk up a little bit,
Yeah.
but
Is it
we'll
the
continue.
same- Well, Jericho actually walks up, and he says, "Can I see that pickaxe?"
And he hands it to you,
Yeah.
and we'll say because we know from Finn, the way he's like, it is a bad tool. There's nothing secretive about this pickaxe.
And Jericho hefts it, holds it in his hands, and says, "All right, what's your game here? You wait for newcomers, and they try to take advantage of them, give them shoddy pickaxes.
Sade.
Everyone has equal chance here. I give them a tool. They do with it as they will.
So that they're indebted to you."
You are not. How dare you speak to me this way?
What are
I
you?
mean, you don't know. You don't know what it's like in here. I'm 17. He says to you.
Only 17. And you're doing this. The Rust God has lots of work to do on you. Come on.
I saw what you did. 17. Stop it. If you know what's good for you, you hear a dwarf, a woman carrying a yoke. She's got tangled yellow dusty hair. And on the yoke, 2 mismatched pots of water hang from either side of her yoke as she walks by. I saw what you did for that knot back there. Admirable. 17, leave these ones. And she kind of walks past you carrying the water.
And I follow her sort of with a hop and a step. I just say, you're obviously familiar with this area. My name is Finn. This is Wharton, Jericho, Theodora. I was wondering if I could ask you just a quick question. Do you have any spare clothes that I could borrow?
Sorry, you say that to whom?
To the woman that just sort of stuck up for us.
Listen, I understand it's going to be hard, and if I had spare anything, I would give it to you, believe me. But I don't have spare. And she keeps walking with the yokes and the water, and she's going to what seems to be a more established dwelling. than the other places, and she takes the yoke off and puts it down, and takes the pot of water and puts it on this kind of stone pedestal that she's made, and another one beside it.
Can you tell me, who are those people up there dancing? What are they doing?
Just having fun.
That's our disco. Yeah, we have shuffleboard at 3, and disco
That's
at 5.
right. It's actually a pretty nice place.
Great slave little hobby hole.
This is not a good living, she says, and she's scrubbing what seems to be a bunch of like makeshift like water vessels and like pots and things like that, and some of them are like made from like an old shovel head that's been hammered to like a concave shape, and then, or convex if you turn it upside down, and then she's like washing like an old broken helmet that's clearly been used for a vessel, and she's hanging it up. This is her wares that she's selling, and she looks up at there and she says, "That is a reminder, not, and that is the cruelty that we face every day. The oppression that we have to see that is stifling." You see a man walk up, exchange one of those stones, the same type of stone that the swarthy dwarf was trying to get, 17 was trying to get you to etch your symbol into, and exchanges it with her, and she grabs what looks to be a fairly nice, as far as these really debris created vessels, and gives it to the older dwarf, very strong, broad, but older dwarf, and he nods, and she nods to him, and she goes on. That is a reminder of why you need to make sure you are settled and quiet when the sun goes down.
Can you enlighten us, please?
Joe, can you do, first of all, let's see. Yeah, you know what she's going to do? I'm just going to have her explain because I like that better, yeah. We had some dwarves who managed, and she's scrubbing, to grow some weeds, some everyday run-of-the-mill hog's breath. Maybe you're familiar with it. It's like a common weed that grows on the side of trails. And they were able to make a brew from it. Something to, liven the morale of this place. They made, a very strong brew. And us dwarves, we like to drink, as you know. Well, they didn't make curfew that night. They like to party, as it were. They like to dance, and merriment was had that night. That's a reminder why merriment is not meant for this place. They danced like that from that day forth. And they continue to dance like that. And as she says this, you realize, and you're looking up, that their faces are just cavernous. There's no flesh there, as you can see from this vantage point now that she's pointed it out to you, that they've been dancing. And they continue to dance. And we will continually know that he does not want us to be happy. He wants us to work. And she goes about what she's doing again.
Who is he?
I don't want to talk about it. You are newcomers, and who knows who's watching, she says. I can tell you things about I don't feel safe telling you about it, and she's being truthful here. You can see there's concern in her eyes as she's being pressed. Listen, I can help you a little bit here. I can guide you about the camp. I can tell you things, but please don't risk me and my livelihood. I'm surviving. I'm making it through. Please don't bring too much attention to me.
Fine.
We set off a firework.
Yeah.
Another dwarf comes by and says, 47. I want that one, please. And she points to.
Here's a question, guys. What were the numbers last time? The last episode, we got a series of numbers.
47, 32, and 68.
47, 32, and 68.
Yep.
So this woman is special, obviously.
Yeah. That's my
How did you get those numbers, Finn? What are you talking about? Just for those people who don't remember.
Well, we got those numbers from that book.
One was from a book, and the puzzles and the little things that happen.
Yeah, exactly. But seemingly at the time, the witch sort of gave us a bit of a story of how they were important, but I don't think there was any more beyond that, was there?
Um,
The numbers were significant. That's kind of all we know.
Wharton
pretty
got
much
some
it,
cool
yeah.
dust.
Yeah, I had some dust.
I remember. I thought about that was the thing I thought about when I went to bed. I was like, I didn't really describe how, like, it just sounds like I gave her my handful of dust. Like, it should have
Yeah,
been like she
essentially.
came over and like scooped it into like a bag and handed it to him. But it's like, the
Cool.
dust is yours. Take it. Glitter here.
Woohoo!
So Finn, while you're talking to 47, Finn has been on his knees in the sand, or this yellow dust, I should say, and he's like rubbing it all over him, trying to change the color of his hair to like straw color, almost like his beard and everything like that.
To blend in a little bit more with the others.
No, well, partially, yeah, but also he stands up and everyone gives him like a weird look. He's like, "Well, I stabbed one of those dwarves. If they come through, I don't want them to find me." So he suddenly looks very like different. Obviously, that's why he was asking for the clothes. but-
Pigpen
disguise.
style.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, but very, very like straw-like. His hair is very like kind of like stuck together now and like sticky looking with the sweat and the heat. It just kind of looks like a fucking mess.
But you know what?
Great.
You do fit in more. You're like more. You're not as easily visible as a knot.
Right.
I like that.
So I look towards 47, kind of figuring it out, and the numbers, and so it says, "Look, we're here for a reason. I think maybe you are a big part of that. What was your name before you were 47?
Listen, I've been here since my daughter was 10.
Well, how
She
old
would
is
be
your
the
daughter
age I was when I was taken. This day next month, she will be the same age as I would be.
Wait,
I
what?
can't remember my daughter's name, let alone my own. I'm 47, friend. And, that's my name now. And she goes back to scrubbing stuff.
Maybe, I mean, does this person seem like she has more information for us that we could get through, or is this kind of the... You mentioned...
She's been here a long time. She
Yeah.
understands the camp. She understands what's going to happen tomorrow. She understands what curfew means.
Yeah, but
she
she doesn't want to tell
understands-
us that.
She told you. She pointed out the fact that if you are not in
Well,
bed, there's punishment.
I do have more questions that I think she could
She understands.
answer.
She understands the currency clearly. She understands why people are, giving her these stones. She has a fair bit of stone. You can tell she's older than other people that are around.
We don't see people by age
She does not want to talk
47.
about the person
in charge.
that caused that punishment, that symbol at the top that's now telling everybody that they're here to work, not to enjoy their experience.
Yeah.
Are your names, these numbers, indicators of value? Is this a kind of hierarchy?
And she kind of looks a little bit proud. She's like, you might know that 47 is a respectable number here. My name 47 indicates how successful I am in the mind. It allows me certain benefits, we'll say, certain what's the word I'm looking for here, guys? Help me out.
Privileges?
Privileges, thank you. Certain privileges, and she gestures to her bed. She actually is off the floor, so like a cot-like setting. It is gained by hard work or through wits. I am old. I cannot work as you able-bodied knots can. However, I can provide a service, and those that can work can provide me with ore, with the stone, with the kilograms in exchange for goods and services, and I can get a reputation as a worthwhile member. I am 47 because I provide for the camp. I am 47 because when the day is done, I can give, on my better days, 47 kilograms. And that is what I'm rated at right now.
So it's not golf rules. The higher, the better. It's how much you can do.
That's right. Golf.
So I'd be like 4.
Golf rules where you take the head of a goblin invented by
Well,
the
no,
halflings.
Golf exists in this world.
Ball
you
roarer,
ignorant
Pippin
fool.
ball
No,
roarer.
I understand. So we are not, because our yield has been not.
You will be
We
tested, she says. You will be tested tomorrow, maybe another day. Not every day do they test and give you a rating, but eventually, if you're here long enough, you will lose the moniker of not, and you will get a number. If you are capable, able to work, perhaps your number will even be more than 47.
Is it purely strength-based, though?
I don't have strength anymore. I did one day. Now I provide these. And she holds up a vessel and she says, value to others means that I can get ore even if my strength is no longer with me.
That's
So
what
I'm
he's saying,
valuable
like,
to the camp.
That's a kilogram from someone else's value.
That's right. She holds up a pebble. On a day when I cannot work well, perhaps my arthritis is acting up, perhaps I am just feeling particularly tired, I can give this to that dwarf over there, and she gestures to and you see the number 12 on it, to 12, and he must give me an ore that day. When I get the ore from him, then his debt is paid. I return the stone
Very
to him.
interesting.
But that's confusing, though. So, hold on. She was ranked 47 at a time of testing. So how much ore she could do?
It's not based on how much you can, it's how much you bring out of the mine.
Well, that's
It's
what
not,
I mean.
They don't know if you're the one who's taking it out of the stone. the
Right,
wall.
right. But
And I'm
like,
sure the guards look the other way. Like, they kind of understand this exchange. They're not stupid, but they understand that the camp is not going to work. If they have this kind of economy within the camp,
Okay.
it kind of works for itself, right?
So they obviously don't test every day. They test like once a month or something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
or-
exactly. There's like
Because it
someone
would
in charge.
fluctuate
Of,
so much. You'd be like
exactly. It's
47. Because like theoretically, couldn't 47 go into like 2 between a test?
well, exactly. But you don't know when you're going to be tested.
Right.
Okay,
And so like
interesting.
So you're always
what
trying
she
to
says
keep
is
your
like
real
she
time.
might keep these. Maybe she's having a lazy day, and all of a sudden she hears that there's rumors of testing.
Right.
Well, she's going to want to exchange these to get her ore.
So maybe we should steal some. No, I was kidding. Well, either way, we're not going to be sleeping on the ground tonight. And Finn takes a look around and finds a little shady spot
Well,
in the.
Jericho wanted to ask one question.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
While Finnegan's looking, Jericho walks up
Oh,
and
wait.
says, listen, I don't care about stones. I don't care about mining. All I care about is getting out of here. How long have you been here? Have there been any tales of people escaping, getting back to the real world, or the lands they came from?
And she leans in closer. I don't want to bring attention to myself. These are rumors. Only rumors. There is said to be a great ruler east of us. And if you follow this trail, you are free. But the truth is, every time I have witnessed someone escape, they return maybe an hour or two, hunted down by the guards, slain in their pursuit, in their attempt to escape. If you want to talk about this type of thing, please leave me be. I'm a simple woman. I need to survive, and that's all I can do. But there are those in the camp who can tell you more. Perhaps you need one of these. And she grabs a bowl off the rack that's there like this, and she hands it to you, and she says, I will give you one for what you did back there for that other knot. There needs to be more empathy and kindness in this camp, and if it means some of you surviving longer, then I am grateful. And she hands you one of the vessels. You will need this tomorrow. Tomorrow you will get some food, and those knots who have nothing, they will just use their hands. You perhaps can get a little bit more sustenance for the day.
One more thing. Sorry to keep pestering you. Could you kindly point out number 32 and, I believe it was 68?
Those are very interesting choices, she sees. Well, 32, 68 you'll find, and she gestures just over there. And you can see it's a little bit higher up It's a little bit more, again, another substantial dwelling. That is 68 there. And up there, if you can manage, and again on the highest point of this quarry, that is 32.
Excellent. Thank you. I do appreciate it.
Thank you. Yeah, that's 32 way up there.
Perfect.
It looks
So,
like a
and
32.
if you look at the map one more time, you can see 32 is actually right across from the dancing, the oppression of dancing. We'll say the symbol of the oppression.
Cool. Is there like a clear way for us to get up there, or are we gonna have to like
You're gonna have to climb.
adventure to get up there?
Yeah.
You
You can just climb. There's a way to climb up there. Like it's clearly part of the camp, part of the quarry, but it is treacherous. It is going to take some skill.
Cool. Do we have time to do that, or should we bed down?
You have time to talk to two more people, we'll say. So you can talk to them. You can talk to other people.
Cool. Well, let's find the other two then, I guess.
Yeah.
Are you sure you don't want to talk to some other shady folks?
Sure.
Some randoms?
I'll look for the shady.
We only have time to talk to two more people. You could talk to the numbers that you're familiar
Well, then
with,
no.
or just randoms. How about you talk to some randoms?
I want to go
All
back
these-
and talk
all
to
these
number 17
NP
again.
Yeah, go talk to. That's right.
Well, you
I
know
got
what?
all this like
We don't all have to talk to the same
how
people.
those boots
Maybe
working out?
filler
for you?
NPC
Are there
stuff.
like
you know what? Maybe I'll go to a shady NPC, and
are there like 8 different people that are named like 4?
yeah, there's got to be
Yeah,
duplicates.
right.
Yeah, you're right, right? So there would be.
There's like 1,000 knots. Or
There would be.
Duplicates. I mean, there's
But
tons
you
of
realize there's not this camp isn't huge. So the chances of duplicates are possible, but
Oh,
you're
but there's
probably
at
looking at the
least
you're looking at the
100
lower
people.
end. You're looking at the lower end of the spectrum here, and then those that have more significant titles would have been here longer.
Yeah,
Right, like-
I'm a 4 versus I am 68.
Exactly, right?
The real question is are all these in 1 kilogram chits? Because like,
Yep.
is someone carrying around like 47 rocks with them, or are they?
No. So the number
like
is
5
just
and
the
10
moniker.
denomination.
It's just the moniker that people call you by. So they recognize you by how successful you've been. There's no symbol on them. There's nothing. 47
No, but-
is known as 47 because she at one time had 47 on a rating.
Yeah, but what I mean to say is that's based on the number of like chits she had, or
Yeah,
rocks
exactly.
that-
Yeah.
And
yeah.
what I'm wondering is it all 1 kilogram chits, or are there different denominations?
No,
like,
all 1 kilogram. So they basically
like, here, I owe you 5. Here's a $5. You know.
Yeah,
Keep
no,
the
they
change.
don't have like a 0.5 or I'm 32.638.
Cool.
No, they don't have that.
I mean, if you did, I'll go to a shady person. Sure. I think
you don't have
Finn
to
will
do it for
walk
me.
over-
You don't have to do it
I'll
for
do
me.
it
I'm
for
just
you.
joking that like you
I'll
guys
do it.
figured out the numbers before I had shady
You do
people.
it for you. I walk to a shady person. Finn
Okay.
walks away. Oh,
There's a red bearded, balded dwarf. And it is clearly trying to sell shoes. Some of them, you're pretty certain were just off some of the knots that just recently
Oh
arrived.
no.
oh no. And I say, these look like they were just taking off some of the knots that just arrived.
Maybe they have been. What of it?
Well, that seems a little mean, doesn't it?
Yes, this is a mean place. I also have beds. Would you like to buy a bed?
Oh.
No,
I
thank
see
you.
you have shoes. Are you sure? Tomorrow's going to be a very hard day.
I'm pretty sure. Yes.
No bed, no shoes. Can you please move along? There's going to be other people here soon.
I only did this for my game.
Thank you, Harlan.
Is there like a
That's the end of that. That's the end of that, by the way. But there, if there are certain things, for example, you have an advantage because you have a bowl, right?
Yeah.
When it comes to getting food, you're going to have more sustenance for the day.
Yeah.
It's not a bad idea to maybe get something like it's a bed.
Yeah, except you
Could be a
guys haven't
boon.
asked. No, I started the game with a spyglass, a fishing net, and a small tent. So
Mm-hmm.
we are going to be sleeping well tonight, my friends.
Like
Do not worry.
kings.
Yeah.
I
I thought this all. I was like, I'm going to need a way to catch food. We need a place to sleep.
So smart.
And we need a way to scout.
This guy.
And
Or
you were
peddler.
careful enough to look at the weights of those things for when you're talking about your
Yeah.
Your
And more
encumbered
importantly,
perks?
I don't actually have like any combat use. So I
I-
tried to make myself really useful in the role playing.
Can I just tell you that tomorrow when you have to do an endurance check, possibly,
Yeah.
make sure you roll an advantage for that as a gear advantage. Because
Okay.
you've slept well or slept better than you could have.
Well, we'll all have to remember because
I'll try to remember that. But
We're
I'm
all
just
going to get
saying.
in this small tent, by the way. It's going to be great. Don't worry.
It's going to be
I
a
was
two-man
gonna
tent
say-
with five people with. Are you
Okay.
going to let the princely
No, that guy
Dwarf
can
in?
sit on the floor.
But he gets our like protection.
Friends first.
I was gonna say, is there like a detriment to sleeping hard on the ground?
there is.
Okay. So maybe we do. Who knows, guys? They might not cash out these little rocks for like another 8 days. And by the time, like, we can just lend out against ourselves as much as we want, and then we can just escape and leave.
Yeah.
And we
that's
all we
pretty
gave
true,
them
eh?
was a bunch of
Could you
rocks with
imagine?
zeros on them.
Yeah, and now
Mhm.
Chris is going to be like, count-
No, you could
count
totally do
tomorrow.
that. But you also got to remember you got to craft these rocks. They're not just like rocks they found off the ground. Like I said, they're very smooth, about 1.5 inches,
Yeah.
and you don't have any yet. So you could spend
dude
the day
had one.
making these.
Go take one.
Someone had a bear one that they're willing to let you mark themselves. They already created one for just this exchange with knots.
Hmm. That
But you could totally do that.
Pickaxe.
You could spend like one of these rounds, not talk to 32 or not talk to 68, make a stone and make an exchange.
No, we had to talk to these people.
yeah, we gotta chat.
That's what you want.
Yeah, I think that after Jericho
Split up.
heard Wharton ask about those two other numbers, he turns to Wharton and says, "Well, who do you think we should go to first? 68 over there, or 32 way up there?"
Well,
I keep dropping into a different voice.
holy shit, James. Give me 1 second, guys.
Do you think that was me all week last week?
Please, yeah, that voice last week was so good, so no pressure, but I really liked it.
Thank
Completely
you. I just,
unrecognizable.
for whatever
pressure,
reason,
but do it
every time I
exactly the
start in, it switches to like one of my classic NPC voices for my games.
Oh, nice.
Yes, I'm Wharton. Yes. Well, I suppose we should. Well, part way up is 68, and the other part way up is 32. So I suppose we should start with 68.
Agreed. It might be good to speak with someone who's very well versed in this place. I wonder how they got that number. 68.
A lot
And
of
Jericho begins walking over to him.
Yeah, I guess we'll all make the climb up. I'll bring Theodore on my back.
68's not at the top. 32's at the top.
Yeah.
Sorry,
68's
we'll all head
midway.
over to 68.
68, I mean, is on a stony outcropping. You see him sitting there, and this is probably the broadest, thickest dwarf you've ever seen in your life. And he's sitting there sharpening a pickaxe.
Where is he? This dude, or is he this one?
Can I see him?
Sorry, is he this one?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So like clearly, like kind of in a weird spot.
James just floats up there.
Da-da-da-da-da-da.
Hey, friend.
You look like.
Looks like a dwarf.
68. Would you
doing?
like to 69?
Oh. Oh.
Ooh.
Sure. Here's the pickaxe.
Hey.
So he's polishing. He's like sharpening the pickaxe. No, not a euphemism. A literal
Nice.
pickaxe.
He's polishing his
Shing.
axe.
Hello there, not. He says to you, "What can I do for you?" And he seems friendly. And what is it that you need?
We had some questions. We are knots, I suppose.
Yeah, I suggest you get a place to sleep. That's probably your first goal for tonight. And he sizes you up and he looks at you and goes, "It's going to be a hard day tomorrow."
Well, we'll deal with that tomorrow. how long have you been 68? That's, from what we've seen, quite a achievement of a number.
Oh. And I didn't do it with those stones down there, he says, as he's polishing these rocks. I did it through technique. I did it through hard work. I did it through mastering what needs of me. I'm a dwarf. I work with stones. I can do this. I've been at 68, and I have not been able to beat that number for some time yet. But it will be one day that I will no longer be 68. I refuse to be anything but more. You get the impression that he's driven. He's a driven person who's here, and he's good at what he does. And he's got things in his tent. It looks like he's got furs on his bed, and he looks like he even has a cask of ale.
Do you have any advice for us Knots who aspire to be as helpful as you clearly are to this camp?
Can you roll a manipulation a little bit? Because you're trying to get some of his secrets. He's willing, he's pretty willing, but you're definitely trying to tell us your secrets. What's your secret sauce, mister?
It doesn't seem like it's a competitive environment, really. You're good. You're as good as you are, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's based on your. This guy seems to feel like it's based on your own merits, basically.
You're as good as it is based on your merits. You can get better, right?
Yeah. That's
right.
what he's talking about is honing his craft, right?
Exactly right. So you're trying to figure out what is it? How did he get to be 68?
Yeah. He wants to keep that a secret from us.
He, again, anybody who's you're going up to a chef, right? And you're saying what's your secret ingredient that makes this so delicious? And he's prideful of it, right? He feels like an ego about it. He's like, yeah, I figured the system out. And now you're asking him to divulge that.
Yeah.
But it's not a hard thing. I'll give you a +1 because again, he's not a hostile type. He's just a little bit of an ego.
All right.
He's the king of the camp.
Thanks, Chris. I got 3 6s.
Nice.
Listen, I didn't always start out this way. And there was someone who helped me my first few days. And you seem like nice people. I kind of saw what happened down there. I saw you help that. And he gestures to the princely dwarf. I saw you help him out. You didn't need to do that.
I'm pretty smart.
It's good having people like you in the camp, even if you might be competition. He laughs. Listen, my first day, I was not the dwarf you see before you. I was pretty young when I came here. I worked hard to become this dwarf. Every morning, there's a little bit of a sizing up that they do with all of us, including you Knots, particularly you Knots. And it's a little bit of a test of your strength. Tomorrow, before we even go into the mines, they're going to make you do an endurance type thing. Usually, and I imagine this is what they'll do tomorrow, they make you hold a stone above your head. Anyone who cannot hold that stone, or the first person to drop the stone, disappears. And I can guess what happens to them, as you probably can. It's usually a knot. Unfortunately, it's usually a human, I have to say. You guys don't tend to have the shoulders of a dwarf, and he flexes kind of in an arrogant way. But and rubs oil. And he goes, but like I said, I wasn't the dwarf you see before you when I first came. And he goes in the back, and he rummages through some stuff, and he pulls out some, wood. The very first couple weeks, I was hiding these braces underneath my sleeves and my clothing. It allowed for me to not have as much pain during this test. I was able to hold the stone for longer. I don't need them anymore. Maybe you'll benefit from them. And he throws it to you, and it's just this kind of brace that goes around your waist and into your shoulder blades a little bit.
Cool. And Theodora curtsies at him, and she says, "Thank you so much. I think that this camp would be greatly benefited by people such as yourselves and ourselves working together. Our lives will be made better together. So I appreciate
hope you live
this.
long enough that can be true. He
You
smiles.
don't happen to have 2 of those, do
Well,
you?
I pass it. I pass it to Finnegan
I think I'll need it the most.
because I think you're going to need it the most.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
thank you.
He definitely doesn't have 2 of them just because he doesn't have the resources to make them. But
Yeah.
I'm just teasing.
Jericho is still a bit, I guess, confused by this whole situation, and he says, "It looks like you've spent a lot of time honing yourself and making yourself big and strong. Now this can just be between the 5 of us, but don't you plan to use this to escape, change your situation? I mean, as good as things are for you, you're still a slave. You're still being held in an oppressive rule. Don't you wish to escape?"
Interesting. He looks at you and goes, "I've thought about this a lot. Perhaps I can make a plan, a daring escape. I am good at what I do here. My life is not ideal. I am oppressed. I am not free. But I am alive. And many people who do not have it as good as I have, I understand, did try to escape. They could not make it as I have. Where did that get them? So I sit here and I wait, and maybe one day the opportunity will arise where I think that is a possibility, that I can escape and perhaps someone will show me a way. But until that day, I will make the best of the circumstance. I will work and I will earn my name and I will earn what comes to me." And you see the sun is sinking a little bit. You maybe have an hour or so, and we're exaggerating the time here. You guys are wandering around, looking at things. Obviously, these conversations are like 30 seconds, but we're gonna say thematically, it's taking you a little bit of time to find your way. But he's saying this to you. He says, he's sad by what you say, Jericho. You're right. He's impressed. He's a captive. He has a certain amount of pride as being the best, but he doesn't feel like he can do it.
Do you not have anyone? And I guess this is going to be the last thing that I ask, but it's just my character. Do you not have anyone who you long for, who you miss, who you long to be in their arms again? And if you were to escape this place, you could be, but you don't worry that if you stay here for too long, you'll never get to see them again.
And as you know, dwarves live an exceptionally long life, Jericho.
That's true.
I don't know who I was anymore. Do you understand, not? And if you've been here long as I have, you start understanding that this is your world. This is what you know. And although I am a dwarf, I am not perhaps the type of dwarf that you knew from where you came from. I am a dwarf of the mind. I am 68 and nothing more, and that is my life. Perhaps you will be fortunate enough not to forget those that loved you or that you love, but I have been here a long time. And perhaps it's a blessing or a curse, but I do not remember them, and I hope they do not remember me.
All right.
Before we leave you, what is being mined? What is the stone that you are bringing out of the mountain?
That is a great question. You need to ask 32. He has some ideas. He's a thinker. He's not like me. But please, if you want those types of answers, you go to him.
Sounds like my kind of person. Let's go! And Finn tries to start climbing. He's like,
I throw him up there.
it's
I
very,
pick him up and I toss him.
very difficult to climb up.
Let's do a little bit of a climb check here. It is challenging.
Uh-oh.
It's not like really challenging, but it's tough.
Is it a might or endurance?
Can I
I'm
use
gonna
the
say
thing you just gave
it
me?
is a might or a move. Let's do move. Move or
Move.
let's do move. If you want to do might, we can do might. Might or move. We'll see. I don't know about endurance. Do you think? Do you want to justify endurance? I really think. I think
prefer-
as the game depicts it, it's move. But let's do might, endurance, or move, such as you wish.
I'd prefer
Fuck
move.
yeah.
Cool.
'cause-
So
I fail.
I did too.
So you are going to
Yay.
take damage,
Oh no!
Right.
Oh, I didn't get a 1. I just got. I didn't-
or
You gonna push it?
you
I'll
can
push
push
it. I'm gonna push it. I'm gonna push it.
But
I'm gonna push
remember,
it.
remember, careful if you fall like you're just
Wait,
starting
how many
out.
ones, how many ones do you have? 2.
None. I have no ones.
No ones? Okay.
I
Theodora,
rolled
do you have any
3,
ones?
3, and a 5.
Yeah, I do have ones, but don't they only activate when you
When you
fail?
push it. Now
When
that
you
you
push
get to
it.
roll the ones, I thought you have to leave the
don't
ones.
re-roll the ones. The ones stay there, so if you're pushing it, you only have the pool of die that weren't ones.
Cool. So I'm still rolling 3 because I didn't have any ones. Here we go. Pushed.
You know what,
A
guys?
6. A 6 and a 1.
So you got 1/1.
Hey.
So you're going to take 1 point of damage to your strength,
Oh,
unless you did agility, and then you take it
I
to
did agility. Okay.
Okay,
But I
you
get
do
a I get a willpower point, don't I?
You do.
You do.
Right?
Perfect.
Yep.
I'm going to take this as a sign that I should start going and making some area for us to sleep, making some
Cool.
beds for us.
I throw you the tent. Yeah.
I pick it up and I start putting it together, and I make it just big enough
I
for
found
the
a great
4 of
little
us.
area for us, by the way. Just down here.
Perfect.
Okay,
I-
you're going to need to
I'll
put
throw
a
it
tent
to-
there in the build mode, Harlan, please.
I start.
Listen, I'm already on.
I'm
it, baby.
filling in the cracks between the paving stones with like dust that I find to make it even and
Nice.
make it nice.
Wharton, what'd you roll?
I got a 6 and 2 1s.
So a success. You're up there.
Okay. Cool. I made it.
And this
Good job.
Wharton strong. He do good.
Jericho, what'd you do? Sorry.
So it is strength.
Do you have any gear? Did anyone have rope? Because you get out of your gear advantage.
No, I didn't bring any rope. I got 2 6s.
Fucking
All right, cool. You guys, all 3 of you are up there. And as soon as you get up there, you see a older dwarf sitting by a fire. And he's poking the fire with what looks to be like a wrought iron poker.
I'll put it by the fire for you,
Thank you.
and I'll get myself up there. Now this is supposed to be the brainy one, so I feel like he and I have some stuff in common.
We're gonna
Maybe.
chat. Have a little
And I
chit chat.
say,
You guys both think you're smart.
well, I have the stats to back it up.
Ooh.
That's right.
Zing.
Zing.
Literally, I can't. I don't think I'm smart. I read
It's
that I'm
empirical
smart.
evidence. Look at my character sheet.
Unfortunately. Hello, friend. You must be 32.
And his, stands as his back is to you, and he kind of like sits tall and says, "I have guests. Yes, come on over. Come on over. I am 32.
We are all not, but my name truly is Finn.
Jericho.
Nice to meet you, Finn. Jericho. Nice to meet you. And who are you, big one?
I am Wharton.
Wharton. What a strong name.
Yes.
I
thank
hope that I think you'll last. I think you'll stay here a long time.
Oh,
We were wondering-
Not.
We were wondering if you could help us with some information, specifically about what kinds of stones are pulled out of the mine, what kind of material,
Interesting. You
amongst other
came
things.
to see me for information. Yeah, the stones you will be mining tomorrow, as I have. And as you're talking to him, he's turned to you now, and you realize he actually has one arm. And you're thinking to yourself, holy shit, this guy climbs up here every night with one arm, and he's 32. All of a sudden, that number 32 has more meaning to you, right? 32 with one arm. And he goes, the stones that you will be taking out of the mine are really not of your concern that much. I mean, very little does it affect us what we are mining. But here's what I gather from speaking to many of the guards throughout the years. I Suppose they are shipped east, and they are refined in a city far away. A great city made of jade and other stones, and that city, they refine the stones, and it is manufactured that they send it somewhere else. I'm not sure where, but something about the rock. You can smell a certain acidity to it. Perhaps a dwarven nose is the one that can recognize it, but there's a certain acidity, a sharpness. I gather it is used for some volatile concoction, not the likes of which I would ever create myself.
Explosion, perhaps?
Perhaps something like that. I don't know if it's an explosion. I mean, I've seen these rocks fall into torches and shaken and everything. They're not volatile in that nature, at least not in the form they are. But perhaps once they're refined, great into a different form.
You seem rather knowledgeable, and obviously, for such a high number, with an obvious impairment, you seem very well set up here. In what way have you managed to stay so successful?
I've had this impairment for a long time, from even before I arrived here. I haven't thought about that for some years yet. I guess you could say that I've made connections with many of the gods, but more to the point, I know how to wield a blade or a tool or iron, and I can forge iron, and I think the guards have seen that to be very useful. So I've managed to be useful, and I think that is what is important, and why I've managed to succeed.
In what ways?
Well, often, aside from the fact that I'm 32, and that's a respectable number, I suppose. If a weapon or a tool like a pickaxe needs to be reforged, I often will do that job. For you see, that's what I did before I came here.
So you're a
Do you
tool
charge
smith.
a wage? Or?
I'm first to eat, I have to say, and that is nice. That I get to eat first every day, and that's why I've kept my strength, I believe. Come over. Come sit with me. I do have some things I can share with you. And as he got closer, he recognizes you. There's something peculiar about you three. I saw when you arrived, not a few hours ago. Wasn't there a fourth person with you?
Yeah, she's just down there setting up the
Hi.
camp. She was a bit scared of the
And
fire.
he looks over the edge, and he says, I see. Huh. I think you guys are very, very interesting addition to the camp. I look forward to seeing what happens with you four.
I'm hoping maybe we won't stay too long. At least I am. Have you heard of anyone escaping? Getting out of here
Listen,
successfully?
you know how I said that there's refining being done? Whoever that person is that refines, I've heard stories of a great leader. Someone who is willing to fight against Agar. Someone who is refusing to continue the refining process. I think that is our chances here. I'm too old to try it myself. I would never make the journey. But if anyone could escape, that is the direction I'd go. East. Along the path where this yellow rock has gone after years and years. This dust, and he holds up a pile of dust. It litters the trail. All the way east, you could follow this dust straight to that man, straight to that person who I believe could help you. If you were trying to escape or something of that sort. Not me, not for me. No, I'm here to the end of my days, I'm afraid.
Is that the same road that other people have tried? The people
No,
who've
I
come
don't.
back?
Perhaps, most likely. I mean, other people have talked to me before, and I warn you, it has not gone well for them.
Thank you for telling me that.
Is that all you wanted? Perhaps I could tell you.
How did you lose your arm?
Let me tell you about my son. my son. Although I do not remember my own name, I remember his names very well. Theodore. Theodore was my boy. And he was not much of a smith. And I tried to teach him. I really did. One day, Theodore and I, as we were working together, apprentice and teacher, a strange traveler arrived. Her name was Rosalinda, I believe. And she had great wares to offer. One of the offerings that she had was steel the finest of which I've never seen. She said it was Valpor steel. Valpor. Have you heard of that?
No.
No, me neither, and I'm a smith of many years at that time. Well, my son took a liking to Rosalinda. She was kind, and that smile, I can't even forget that smile. Well, he came back telling all sorts of tales, but one thing that stuck in his mind above all else was the fact that he needed to create a weapon. He was fearful. His eyes were desperate a little bit. I thought that Roman woman, that woman who had come, had exchanged these ideas in my young son's head. Well, I let him use the forge, and as he needed to practice anyways, he took that Valpor steel, and he made a blade, and it was elegant. A long sword, well balanced. Every time we create a blade, we test it, and I've tested many of his steels before. Every time they fracture or they break outright. And so I told my son, wield your blade, my boy. Theodore, let's see what you've created. And we exchanged a few clashing blades. And I said, a little bit more force, Theodore. Let's see what it can do. With a little bit of force, Theodore cut straight through my blade, and it cut cleanly through my arm. I was in hospital for a long time, I can tell you. But I will never forget the sense of pride I had of my boy for creating that sword. My boy gave me that sword. And that is the one thing that was taken from me when I came here. And I imagine that man who is east of us, he has that sword. And you can see him go a little bit quiet. Very distant. Anyways, that's how I lost my arm, but I lived with it for many years, and it was not my good arm, as it were. At least, it's not anymore, he laughs.
Rosalinda also brought us here.
She said that we should speak with you.
She pushed us through the portal.
I do not blame Rosalinda. I don't think that she's a crazy woman. You've talked to her. I'm sure she's not responsible for this. You don't think she's responsible for this, do you?
She's responsible for us, yes. She literally pushed us through, well, with wind, but she literally did.
You were telling me that she pushed you through with wind?
Well, I mean,
I thought I could tell a tale.
We did see her do that, right?
Believe?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. She said to you before she did so, the hero has to go through the threshold.
Yeah, I'm gonna use my pride, so that he can trust me, because my pride will allow anyone to trust me, and he doesn't believe that we're telling a tall tale. So it seems appropriate for me to be like, no, like hear us out. What would you like me to roll?
I don't know. What are you trying to do?
Make him trust me.
Don't you have a... Okay, so I guess it would be...
Manipulate, I guess.
Trust roll.
Yeah, manipulate or performance,
call.
I guess, if you're trying to fake it, but you're not. You're trying
I'm
to
not.
make, like,
So it'd be
sway
manipulation.
Yeah, let's do manipulation.
Odd that manipulation,
Animal handling. Empathy.
Right? We're all animals.
Mm-hmm.
basically.
Especially dwarves. Oh!
Zinger on the dwarves.
Expect that from
Two
Justin on
sixes. 2 6s.
And what did you roll on your D12?
Oh, that's right. I don't have a D12. Oh, I'll use it on tabletop. Uh-oh.
Oh.
It'll show up though. 9.
Okay, so 9 gives you 2 more successes.
Nice.
I think this is auspicious, and you see him brighten up. There's a connection. Maybe you're meant to be here. Maybe I'm meant to be here. What was it exactly? If there's anything I can do to help you, Finn, Wharton, Jericho, let me tell you, when you arrived, something strange did happen. When you arrived, I saw something appear, and he gives you this like telescope. Look, and he points towards the mine. And there on top of the mine is the statue that was gestured to you by the guard who took your weapons. That is the pride and joy of Agar. Agar is in charge here. He's the one who did that, and he points over to the dancing dwarves. No one has ever gotten within 30 yards of that, and he points to a statue that's on top of the gates, entering into the mine. And yet, when you arrived, something else arrived with you and hit the statue. And he hands you the telescope. Do you recognize it?
Finn pulls out his own spyglass. Just like,
Yours could have pink eye. It does.
I can do a scouting roll if.
What I do with my telescope is my business only.
So I'm going to do a scouting roll, which is 4 plus 2 plus a spyglass gives me 2 additional. So this is going to be a good roll, guys.
Oh my.
Watch him fail it.
Nice.
That's 3 6s.
Good job.
Fail. No. You keenly see a gem that is strangely familiar just beside the statue.
The blue.
It is. Listen, if that belongs to you, I have connections. Perhaps I can get someone to get it, to bring it to you. But look a little bit, and he gestures, he like pushes the spyglass a little bit over as you're looking, and you can see right beside where the gem is, there's a small crack in the statue. Agar, I think, is going to pay us a visit soon, and I think it has something to do with that, and you four for being here. I think we should prepare ourselves for change. Perhaps I will see my son again, or at least the Valpor blade will be returned to me. And I think that's where we should end it for today.
Good job, Chris.
Great
That
job,
was
Chris.
excellent.
Nice.
There we go. Just wait for the music.
47,
to
68,
Great
33.
job. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Threshold Chapter 2. Great job, Chris. Great job, everybody. That was an absolute blast.
Yeah.
Wow, what a interesting tale. So complex with so many little subtleties. You know, the numbers from last episode to this game.
Yeah,
Really
yeah.
interesting stuff.
So funny because last week after we finished, I was like, I gotta go back and listen to
Yeah,
that
get
game
the notes.
because
Yeah.
there's a lot that happened that I don't.
I'm impressed with Justin's
there's some
note-taking.
breadcrumbs. Yeah.
Oh,
Justin
God, I've
takes
got
more
2
notes in this than he does in all of Dice Shame.
Yep. We love you, Justin.
Yeah. I feel like it's a brain teaser. Like I'm like sitting there, like trying to listen and make sure I take in every turn of phrase. And
I like all the symbolism in this game, Chris.
The
The
You
symbolism.
like that path to the east stuff? Isn't that
Yes.
to the east.
little-
So, ladies
little
and
stuff
gentlemen,
that I hope
we
people
are
picking
going
up
to be
on.
back with Threshold Chapter 3, not next Wednesday, but the Wednesday after. It'll be the 28th. We'll be continuing this excellent story with these wonderful people. Next week, we're going to be playing Call of Cthulhu, The Waking Children with myself, Joe, James, Gary, and Tim Woods, again, author of the Green Knight RPG.
It's gonna be awesome.
So
Tune in.
it should be fun. Although he did say that that hopefully he can make it. So who knows? We'll see what happens. Well, he said like last minute he might have to pull out because he has something going on. So I don't want to hype it up too much in case he's like, oh, this thing did come up, you know. But that's how we are on the Invictus stream. We're pretty loose. You know how it is. Last minute doesn't happen. Sometimes we pull out and still go ahead with it. So come by next Wednesday to hang out with us. It's going to be a blast. That is it from me. Great job, guys. Great job, Chris. Wonderful game as always. And as my lovely fiance always likes to say,
Eat your fruits and veggies.
eat your fruits and veggies, ladies and gentlemen. Good night.